Thank you so much indeed for joining us. Desmond Elliot, the member, Lagos State House of Assembly, representing Surulere Constituency 1. This is just a few months after the elections.
Yes.
But initially, did you fear for the presidential elections concerning the results that came out from that presidential elections?
Firstly, thank you for having me. Yes, and I was not just scared for the presidential, basically all through the ranks. I had some measure of concern, and I think anybody would, especially if you're playing party politics, you would have some concerns. You're entirely bringing up a new presidential candidate from a different region, so it's a cause for concern for any politician. And yes, I was. Just like
Lagos State almost lost that election.
Presidential, we lost actually. Other offices,
especially that of the governorship,
was tough. Governorship, House of Assemblies, we lost some House of Reps members as well. It was a tough one. Pretty much for me, it goes out to show that there's a major discord between government and people, in trying to understand how we work, our duties. I also had personal issues as well, challenges, I would say, that I went through. And in people understanding what our responsibilities are. We are different offices. The governor has his office and his responsibilities. The House of Reps has his, and also the assemblyman as well. So we have conflict of responsibilities in the minds of our constituents and our people. And we also had the issue of people not being okay with how far the government of that day had come. So as a result, everybody was going to take the beating for it. So yeah, it was tough.
But the APC is now back in power
in
Lagos State, which
yes.
is your domain. And
yes.
to narrow it down to Constituency 1
yes.
Of Surulere, what plans are we looking at for from you moving forward into the new administration, new political structure that we have?
Okay, so firstly, I must commend Nigerians for having the confidence, to bringing us back again. We do understand that it was a very polarized election, highly divided, and just midway. So there is no uhuru, so to speak. It's not a cause for celebration for the party or any other person. Yes, we won, but then it's a call to become even more responsible, to what we do and our duties. So personally for Surulere, I would say, and to every representative and to the residents, you can hardly do so much without a working government. In other words, our job is lawmaking, oversight, and representation. And all of these are tied to the job from the executive. All of these are tied to what the executive will do. So people need to understand that when a state is thriving, then the lawmakers even become better. But for instance, you can't create jobs as a lawmaker if the executive isn't offering jobs, so to speak. So the best you can do is maybe go to corporate organizations, to speak on behalf of your people, which is representation, and you do a lot of that. So coming to this dispensation, I have so much. I want to increase more, hopefully, on my health insurance scheme. Also in making laws. There's a law I've been trying to push since the last assembly, which is the Lagos State Orientation Agency. We haven't gotten a name, but it's something that has to do with rejigging the psyche of our people, bringing them up to speed with the fact that we are Nigerians, we're not perfect people, but we must be proud. Now that's very essential. Proud to be Nigerians. Once you're proud to be a Nigerian, then it means there are so many things you can take and hold forth your country. You will not join others who want your country to go down, to bring your country down, because this is the only country you will get as a first citizen. You might get other countries, eventually get other citizenships, but it can never be like your home country. Um, I'm one who could have felt very disappointed and frustrated. I mean, I brought my kids back from Canada when I won my first election because I wanted everybody to be on ground. I wanted them to feel what we will feel. If we're happy, let's all be happy. If we're sad, let's all be sad. Where my parents are, my mother is still today, I didn't move her from there. I left her there, which is in the heart of my constituency. And to show, okay, at peradventure, the cares of this world takes your attention. You will not forget your mother. And as a result, you will not forget the people that live around her. So these are steps I took into making sure that I was sensitive to my environment. But that being said, there's been a bit of lacuna or a lull since my elections because it was a very tough one. And then we ended what in March, April, and we were sworn into the new assembly in June. And you know, as a lawmaker, you have to think about the resources. The kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria, especially for the legislature, is exceptionally different from anywhere else in the world.
How so?
We do what you call executive legislative work because people don't qualify you by your intelligence or your strength at the House of Assembly or House of Reps, as the case may be, alone. Your ability to fix roads, work on infrastructure, work on health sector, help out, do so many things. Now, I'm not...
Are those putting pressure on you?
Say that again?
Are those putting pressure on you? As a lawmaker?
I wouldn't say the people are putting pressure on us, but you will have to put pressure on yourself because if you do not attain these things, then you're not seen to be performing. You're not.
Is it your forte to make those provisions in your
No, it's not.
constituency?
It's constitutionally, you're not bound to make them. You shouldn't. You can't even make them. But you know, Nigerian lawmaking has taught you to think outside the box. You have to start thinking of ways, either corporate organizations to help you out, friends who have the wherewithal who could help you out. You know, if you're close to the high and mighty there, you can now be able to speak your way through, talk to people, lobby a lot. It's a grueling process, but it's fun. Just that sometimes it just doesn't work out. And when you qualify a rep by how much work he's done in his constituency, you know, in terms of delivering those things that are actually executive and not particularly legislative in nature, then it means you need to work hard more. It's no complaint. I met the system this way, you know, and in the next few years, I do not see that changing. Because the truth is, originally there's been a lot of hunger. And the people need to feel government, to feel the dividends of democracy, especially in a place where resources abound. And yet people are still scouting for just the meager things to feed. Someone said this to me in my first term. This was some 8 years ago. You know, it was asking me to do something that was actually in the powers of the governor. And, you know, and I said to him, I said, my brother, this one is bigger than me. Oh. This is the governor's work. Oh. This is, and the guy said something that has never left me. He said, who is government? Who? He asked me. He said, who can we touch? Who do we see? It's you. So to you, you are my governor. To you, you are my this. And it gave me a better perspective, you know, and this is how people see us as representatives because we are more on ground. You know, we are more, I mean, the governor can be in every local government. The president can be in every state. It's we, the representatives, that you would need to take it up. So this is our own grounds now with executive to say, you know, you need to do a whole lot more with your representatives. They stand for you, okay? So do a whole lot more. If you want to get an SSA who can just watch out the things that he or she is doing, because as House of Assembly members, for instance, we do not have constituency allowance. We are not bound by that. We don't have it. The best we can do, which came out of the benevolence of the Right Honorable Speaker Mudashiru Obasa. I believe it was in the 8th Assembly when we decided that across the state we should have um, stakeholders meeting. So from our stakeholders meeting, which we do quarterly, we now get information from our people and make sure we try and fit a lot of them into our budget, which is what I like the ones we did last year. The work has started in my constituency. You could go verify. You see a lot of about 5 roads are being, which I have been able to facilitate, and that came as a result of the stakeholders meetings we had, and then the parley we've been having with the executive. But of course, we're not going to put, oh, it's facilitated by me, but the constituents know because I told them I put it in the budget, and I'm glad that the government, the executive, responded by coming to do the roads. So you have roads like Onotoro, Ilumo, and so on around Baja area of Surulere, that is under construction now. So that gladdens my heart.
How are you able to deal with the issue of miscreants, especially for your constituency, knowing very well that it is by and large sports based, and
Yes.
a lot of those boys, they come in their droves.
So I look
How are
at
you
it
able
this
to
way.
deal with those criminal tendencies?
Firstly, as a representative, I wouldn't call them miscreants. Anybody who has a power to vote, cannot be a miscreant, because a miscreant cannot bring someone who's coming to do something right. So I have looked deeply. I've been in this game 10 years now, and I have seen that about 30% of these boys probably don't want to work. 70% really want to work. And if those jobs are available, if they are able to fend for their families, and guess what? They are all family people. So being a miscreant means you are useless to society. These are not useless people to society, but they just need to find work, make sure they can go out in the mornings, come back in the evenings. Lagos has huge nightlife. Give them something that is nightlife that is safe. They enjoy themselves for 1, 2, 3 hours with their friends and colleagues, whatever. They go home to sleep. Next day they come out again. But I do agree that it's a problem. It's a problem, and it will not stop if we continue the way we are doing. If we do not start creating jobs for these people, jobs do not have to be formal jobs. There's so much in the vocational sector that we can train these people to become. So much even in service sector, because you don't need so much education to be a taxi driver, for instance, to own just these little bits and pieces, own a newspaper store or something, that is not too technologically high. The truth is, the more you have circulation of funds in a community, the better it is for that community. And then everybody lives well. You mustn't all be on the same level. You mustn't all be rich, middle class, or poor, but you can have an active economy going, and that's the hope. So for me, as a representative, I'm looking for where I can cater to the elderly ones. I can, in terms of my executive legislative work now, cater to them. Health insurance, which I already have for over 500 now. I'm hoping at the end of the year, I get another 500 on board, because it's not just the malaria, typhoid kind of insurance. It has to do more with illnesses that come from old age. So we deal with arthritis, we deal with all those things. And that's what we're dealing with in Surulere. Thanks to Top 3 medical services is on Ogulano Drive. They are a parent hospital that handle lots of these people. They are into community health, so health service, which is the reason why they are able to handle our constituents. Besides the health sector as well, education. I take a number of people through university. We've graduated quite a number as well. And we will not stop, because there are some people that can't afford, these things. We just try to help, But besides that, I was talking about the orientation agency. I discovered that there are so many morals that are not in our constitutions or in our laws that we ordinary should know and know how to coexist in terms of what I can do that will not affect my brother. Those things you can't find in the Constitution. You understand? You can just find a little bit, oh, respect one another, blah, blah, blah. But the day to day, how I relate with you in my community is important. Respect for human beings, irrespective of age, tribe, or religion, is also very necessary. Um, Traffic rules when you drive, when you have broken lines on the road, when you have straight lines on the road, when you can't make a U-turn, when you can turn right, even when the sign says red. These are the things I mean by Lagos State honking. Oh, that one drives me crazy. Honking all the time.
In a mega
You
city
just
like
want to,
Lagos,
yes. You just want to say
it's
hello.
it's
Ping, ping,
inevitable.
pom, pom. Those are the kind of things we need to now start bringing 2024, 25 um, year olds into understanding. And we're growing. This is it's a new age. So we should start falling in line and understanding. When you're in a place where there's an intersection and there are no traffic lights, who moves first? It should be the first person who comes to the intersection. And there's respect. You go past. Even common saying hi without even knowing the person is important. So these are the things I want to hope this Lagos State Orientation Agency will be able to bring, imbibe. It's a question of love and respect for our neighbors and whomever we are. When you have 4 cars and you park everything on that street and you block every other person, you should also be humane enough to understand that you don't live in this place alone. You have dogs or animals that disturb others. You should be able to do certain things.
Do you believe that the opposition PDP has lost its power and steam owing to one fact that Nyesom Wike, former governor of River State, is being given a political appointment as a minister?
Okay, so I believe it goes beyond one man's, one major man, one major man's slide into the other party. I think because PDP as a party hasn't delivered in the last, in 16 years of its operation and being in power, and then we as Nigerians haven't yet understood that political parties can be bound by ideologies as against just interests like we have them today. Um, I don't see a rise in PDP, so to speak. I don't see a rise. Don't forget, a new force has come up on board as well. And as a political analyst and a legislator, I can only analyze, but then one has to be careful when he says things like this on air. But that notwithstanding, I would look more into the positives, which is the fact that the All Progressives Congress has been given another major opportunity to prove itself in governance and in delivering of the dividends of democracy, which is where we're at today.
Where we are at today seems
Yes.
to suggest to a lot of people listening to this that the economic policies has rather plunged the people into more sufferings. Let's say, for example, now the fuel subsidy removal.
So fuel subsidy removal, like we all know, all top 3 candidates said it was going to happen. It had to happen. We had gotten to the point in the Nigerian sector where we realized that this money government spends in subsidizing this fuel is not just going through corrupt processes. It's also taking off the funds we could have used to do something better. You understand? At some point, we will all need to sit down and agree that we have to suffer a great deal before the enjoyment comes. When I mean the enjoyment, before we begin to see some form of peace. I know the government of today is now, I won't say struggling, but is doing everything within its powers, knowing that it has inherited a whole lot of baggages, not just from the last 8 years, but since the turn of the Fourth Republic. And it kept going down and down and down. So what the government is trying to do now is, you know what? Let's take the bull by the horn. Let's start making certain steps that will bring us back. That's why it's called renewed hope. Um, it looks extremely hopeless now, but I've always told people, give it a year and a half, 2 years. Somebody says, are we not all going to die before then? We won't. Because like we see, the government is bringing into play some bit of palliatives. I'm not a palliative fan, but some bit of palliatives are coming on board now. I'm sure government is not just going to say, go, palliatives. No. They will do that. They will have a review. They will look at if the program worked and they'll push on to something else. But not taking away the fact that we need to face certain things. And that's the fact that the country is in dire straits. We need to salvage the economy. And the party knows that if it fails in this one, that's it. That's it. So we can't afford to fail.
Do you think Ganduje can steer the party in the right direction for greater gains?
I believe the people we have today at the helm of affairs know just what is right. I am very confident. Very confident. I'm not saying we're going to be tomorrow's America or tomorrow's Switzerland.
Why not?
No, I'm not saying that's going to happen in the next 4 years. I can't guarantee that. I'm not sure the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, can also guarantee that. Because it's a lot of work. A lot of work. We have work from the economy. We have work from ourselves as individuals. We have the process of bringing trust back to the people. It's huge. So all these don't happen in one day. But I know that once changes, one thing I believe we, the people, are able to see now is some form of seriousness with this government in terms of, okay, we're facing this, we are doing this, we are doing that. So I would only ask that we give it some time and see and give all the support. Because the truth is, if we do not support, who's going to support? Not the outsiders. We have to support the government in power. So we give you the necessary support to do the best thing you need to do. And clearly, government should be able to show the people transparency, some form of transparency. You know, this is what we are doing. We are spending 2 naira on this. For instance, the president has said by December, Port Harcourt refinery will be up and going. That's good news. I've not heard any government that has been emphatic as that in the last, 16 years to say we're going to make sure this is up by now.
But we also heard that one of the refineries also have been up and running by the end of July.
So we just, this administration just came in. We can't blame this administration for what didn't happen in the last administration. So they are saying this is what's going to happen now. And I totally believe, beyond any shadow of doubt, that which was the reason I campaigned heavily for not just the party, but Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because I know at this stage, there's nothing else the man wants other than see the progress of his people.
Do you believe that
Yes.
when that refinery comes
Yes.
into full production,
Yes.
do you believe that the price of petrol will drop?
Okay, so we know that one of the reasons why the fuel prices are up now is because we have to buy the crude we send to them, and we have to buy them in the refined form. I want to believe, but don't forget, this is just one refinery out of 4, several. Even I believe when Dangote refinery starts full operation, I want to believe that a lot of inflation will drop. And I want to believe that through the indices, I'm not sure of a fall in price, but I know that there will be a lot of value for the money. And there is the value that goes up, you understand, for the Naira. So which of them are we talking about here in real terms? Are we talking of price to drop from 300 to 100? Or what you can buy with 300 is worth what you're spending the money for? So these are 2 different things you look at. At the end of the day, all Nigerians want is shelter, security, food. water. Once you can give Nigerians these things, then every other thing is fine. And that's the good thing about we as a people. These are the things we need. You understand? So I am hoping and I'm believing and I'm trusting that the government of the day is able to deliver on these things. How long it will take within this term, I couldn't tell. But I know that as every day goes by, the government knows that it's one day out of the mandate you've been given. So it means it's one day for you to prove that you're heading towards the victory that we are looking for, we are hoping for. It also applies to people like us who are assembly members, representatives. So we've been able to, I personally, take a long break, weigh everything, look at it and say, which way do I go? These are the policies of government. How do I bring any form of dividends to my people? How do I respond to them? It's a bit slower than I expected, but we will get there. We're getting there. Devoid of, when so many things go on social media, you can't respond to all of them because it seems like you're fueling, a lot of talk. But at the end of the day, attending to the needs of your people, especially the common needs of your people, is very paramount to me. In many communities, I have been able to assist in terms of power generation, helping them get, power stabilized. Now, these are not things that are common in Western world, but where we are at, you have power issues here and there. We try to make sure Surulere gets better in terms of that. Like I just explained, we're doing the roads and we do several roads. I've been able to facilitate the construction of schools, especially on the Eric Moore end. Then, we do a lot of give jobs. Just not too long ago, we were able to facilitate about 5 paid jobs at NTM for some of our constituents, and all that. So this is us going out to actually bring stuff in to the communities. My appeal is to a lot of corporate organizations. I know things are really tough, but you see, government can't do everything alone, and they know that. Representatives can't do everything alone. We need your cooperation. Surulere, for instance, we have I can tell 5 big companies that I know we can always partner with into delivering something to the people. So I'm calling on them to please don't get tired, but come and assist us while we try to build our people, build human capacity, build them in the area of technology, information technology and stuff like that. So I think these corporate organizations can do a whole lot at helping us.
Desmond Elliot, we must sincerely thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Member Lagos State House of Assembly, representing Surulere Constituency 1.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thanks a lot.